We'll start with Michael Lev, Arizona Daily Star.
Kyon, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yes, sir.
How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
Pretty good, thank you. Can you tell us the story of your recruitment, which I think is a little unconventional?
Yeah, it's actually a crazy story. I was originally going to go JUCO, and I was already working out with the JUCO, Riverside City College. And I was just training, and my coach was planning to have a, what is it called? Like a showcase for all college coaches to come and like watch. But I wasn't going to go because I was already a senior. Like it was for younger underclassmen. And I didn't want to, really step in there and stuff. But my coach said you should go. Like there's coaches that will want to see you, and then I went. Coach Meat happened to be there. He saw me, did the drills, and next thing you know, we was in contact and started talking. Went on an official visit and everything, and it went well.
So, what was the issue that caused your recruitment to kind of go sideways? Was it academic related?
Yeah. My SAT scores were kind of low, so I had to keep working on that. But towards the end of the semester, I was able to kill the SAT and get my scores right last minute.
Sure. And if that hadn't been the case, do you think you would have had a lot more interest and offers, or that it would have been kind of a more normal cycle?
For sure. If my SAT scores were better, I feel like I would have had more offers because, not to brag, but I was a good high school player. Like I wasn't a 5-star, but I was good.
So is this one of those kind of all's well that ends well
situations? It was a blessing. Yeah, it was a blessing.
And how have things gone for you at Arizona so far?
It's been going good. As a true freshman, I learned a lot. Had a good experience by playing all 11 out of 12 games, which is very good. Learning for upperclassmen and just getting that good experience.
Cool, thank you.
Next question will go Justin Spears, Arizona Daily Star.
And last year, did you expect to get as much playing time as you did?
Yeah, I feel like I had a good camp, and I had already talked to Coach Yona, the previous defensive line coach, and I just been working, going over film with him, and just learning the plays. So I feel like I had a very good chance of playing.
And what did you take away from playing Power 5 football in your first year at playing college?
The speed was very different from high school, so catching up on the speed, like the college speed, was a good experience, and just gaining more knowledge than what I had just benefited me more.
And last year you had a different defensive line coach, but now this year you have Coach Egan. What have you kind of taken away from Coach?
Coach Egan, he's a great coach. He's a hard-working coach. He'll get on you. He's not going to be a soft coach. Like he's gonna make sure you really understand what he's saying. But I've learned a lot from him since he's been here.
Next, we'll go back to Michael Lev.
Going back to the recruiting story a little bit, you committed to Arizona without ever having visited the campus. Is that correct?
Oh no, I had one visit. I came on one official visit.
You did? Okay. And what did you think when you came here?
It was great. The coaches and the players, they all welcomed me. They knew I was a late commitment, and they knew what was going on, what the situation was, but they all took me in like a brother.
Sure. Like a lot of guys in a situation like yours where maybe they don't have the stars attached to their recruiting profile, it gives them an added sense of motivation. Do you feel that at all?
Yeah. Yes, for sure. And my mom, she's a very spiritual person, so I just knew that God had a plan for me, and a blessing was going to come. I just had to wait my turn.
Are you pretty religious also?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. And you said it was Coach Mead who came to see you, and Coach Yona was also the one, or another coach who was involved in the recruitment?
Yes, sir. Coach Mead.
Right? Okay. So Coach Sumlin said yesterday that maybe you had a little bit of baby fat on you coming in. What have you done in the off season to transform your body?
Back home at my training facility in Winter Circle, I just was working. We was in quarantine, so I had to make up a couple of things in my garage. Lift more weights, eat more. My mom fed me a bunch of home cooked meals. Protein. Really, like I just was able to get up to 300 and gain on my weight. And then coming back here, Coach B got us right.
Sure. What was your weight when you first got to Arizona, and what is it now?
I believe it was 285, and right now I'm 300.
300. Okay. And you feel good at that weight? Like, is your
Yes, sir.
You feel lean is probably not the right word when you're 300 pounds, but how do you feel when you're
I feel great. Yeah, I feel great. I feel like even at 285, I was less than in shape than what I am now.
Okay. Cool. Thank you.
Next question, Troy Hutchison, All Sports Tucson.
So talk about the transfers from New Mexico and New Mexico State. What have you learned from them in this short amount of time before you guys prepare for your first game?
Roy and Aaron, they're great players. Don't get me wrong. They're older players too, so I can learn a lot from them. They've done this college stuff way longer than I have. So it's just great just playing next to them and learning next to them.
Next question, Alec White, Arizona Daily Star.
Yeah, I'm curious how important you think it is for a defensive line to have size, because in the past Arizona's kind of been an undersized defensive line, and now after a couple years, the defensive line's gotten a lot thicker in size, a lot more muscle. How important do you think it is for a defensive line to be able to have that bulk?
Well, it's very important for a defensive line. We're all linemen, you know. You're going against big offensive linemen, 320, 330 dudes every play, so you got to have some weight on you. And we were Coach B was big on that in this offseason, just getting all the bigger guys, like really get more muscle and get our weight up. So we were big on that.
Who's the strongest guy, do you think, on the defensive line?
We're all strong, but it's probably gonna be an older guy. I'll probably say Aaron or Roy.
Okay, thank you.
Next question is Steve Rivera, Fox Sports 1450.
I'm just curious. You've been able to see USC, they have already played. They haven't seen you. Who has the advantage?
I mean, USC is a great program. Like I watched the game on Saturday. They played a hard-fought game, but I thought it's gonna be a great game.
So no one really. It's just what you put into it, or
yeah, it's just whoever goes in there on Saturday and wants some more. That's who's gonna come out with the win.
Thanks.
Next question, Rich Herrera, Wildcats Radio 1290.
Good morning. Can you talk about the ups and downs of last week and then how you guys are going to prepare for this week emotionally?
Yeah, finding out our game was canceled last week, it made us feel heartbroken, a lot of us. But, you know, we had our coaches text us. You know, we communicated on group chats, came back that Saturday, worked out. We all talked. We were just like, figured out we got to come back this week and get ready for USC. We can't focus on the past. We got to move on.
Next question, Justin Spears, Arizona Daily Star.
So Coach Sumlin said, you know, the team was frustrated. Some guys, you know, had some tears. What was kind of going through your head when you found out the news that you weren't playing last week?
You know, we all been working so hard, you know, like with this whole COVID situation going on, we put our all and get ready for this first game, and like we got it taken away from us. So emotions are going to show. And me, myself, I was hurt, but, you know, I had to be the leader and, you know, like push everybody to get ready for this week.
And did you kind of immediately turn your focus to USC, and were you able to watch the game live?
Yes, sir. I was watching the game live, really, like not just watching the game, but studying them. Okay.
And you're from SoCal, correct?
Yes, sir.
So is this game a little bit personal for you?
Yes, sir. Of course. I'm a California dude, and you know USC was my favorite school growing up, so it is kind of personal.
So what do you remember about watching USC growing up?
Just the players that came throughout the program, which is why it's such a great program. But the players who came out throughout the program and the success they've had. Do
you have a favorite USC football memory or a favorite player?
Probably I used to grow up watching Reggie Bush, so he was exciting to watch.
Thanks.
Next question, we'll go back to Michael Lev.
Did you want to go to USC?
I mean, what Cali kid doesn't, but whatever God's plan was, which was University of Arizona, that's what happened.
Sure. The position that you're playing this year, is it the same position you played last year?
Last year I kind of moved around. I kind of played defensive end, nose tackle, and then 3-tech. But this year I'm really in the defensive end and 4-eye and 3-tech really.
So okay, so it's when it's the 3-man front, is it considered an end position? I think it's listed as tackle, right?
Yeah, tackle. It's gonna be tackle. We run a end tackle and nose.
Okay, so whatever you're doing this year, how different is it from what you were doing last year?
Not too much different. Really, just the same assignments, just different plays. Really, no difference.
Okay, how can the defensive line set the tone for the entire defense this year?
Just coming out every game prepared and ready to get some sacks and some tackles and QB pressure so that our DBs don't have to work as hard.
Sure. Is there a particular message that Coach Egan conveys to you guys on a regular basis?
Yeah, just come out and be aggressive, really. Like, there's not much to say about it. Just come out and be aggressive.
Thank you.
We have time for one more question. We'll go back to Rich Herrera.
Thanks so much. Two questions for you real quick. Do you have any friends or did you play against anybody who's playing at USC right now? Can you talk about the leaders on this defense and how you guys are going to come together to get ready for this game?
Yeah, you talking about friends at USC?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. I have a couple of friends, Elijah Griffin, Justin Diedick, Nick Figueroa, just a couple of those guys that I know. But our defense is gonna come out and just work. You know, we've been working hard at practice. Everybody's on point. Everybody just like everything just clicks with the whole defense, which is gonna be good.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. We'll be right back with Robert Congel.
All right, how's it going?
All right, questions for Robert Congel, please raise your hand. We'll start with Michael Lev, Arizona Daily Star.
Hey there, Robert. We just talked to Kyon Barrs. Do you ever go up against him in practice?
I go up against him all the time.
Describe what kind of a player is he? What kind of trouble does he give you?
I mean, he's strong. He's really quick too, which, I mean, it's really good going up against him in practice because he's really a legit Pac-12 D lineman, and he can beat you with power, he can beat you with speed. So, I mean, he really does a great job of helping me prepare every week.
So I know he has kind of a strange story as far as his recruitment goes, but does it surprise you to know that he hardly had any offers coming out of college from, from Power 5 programs?
It surprises me how good he is that he didn't, but just seeing his work ethic and stuff like that, you can definitely tell he's got a chip on his shoulder. So, that's no surprise there.
Sure. Aside from the pandemic, which obviously has affected everyone and everything, how's your off season been?
It's been good. It's been kind of challenging, obviously, with the pandemic, but Grant and Booby and all our leaders on our team, they've done a great job of keeping everyone together. And, we've gotten a lot of work in over the past, 6 months. So, I feel pretty good.
Next question, Justin Spears, Arizona Daily Star.
Robert, what was your involvement in talking to Donovan when he announced that he was going to transfer?
It kind of blindsided me. I understood where he was coming from. We had a conversation that night when he announced it. And we just talked it through. I've been through transferring, and I didn't come to him as a teammate. I came to him as a friend, and just kind of talked through it with him. And I'm really glad that he decided to stay, because losing Donovan wouldn't only hurt this team. I mean, not seeing him in the facility every day that'd be heartbreaking. So it's really good to have him back.
And what were some key points that you talked to him about?
Just that we can win here. I don't know. I mean, it's kind of a personal conversation. He's been through a lot. I mean, he's one of the strongest guys I know for the stuff he's had to deal with the past year. So, we just I really just listened to what he had to say and gave my advice, and that was kind of it.
And now that he's back, what do you think about just the overall makeup of the offensive line and the depth you guys have there?
I think we're in great shape. You know, Jordan's really coming into his own. He last year he kind of had those freshman jitters a little bit. You know, it's always hard coming in as a freshman and learning the offense, but he's really made some great steps. And Donovan, he's really taken the guard, and you know, just as an offensive line in general, I'd say our chemistry is as best it's ever been since I've been here. So.
Next question, Rich Herrera, Wildcats Radio 1290.
Thanks so much for joining us. Did you get a chance to watch any of the USC game? And if you did, what are your thoughts on the Trojans?
I did. You know, they do a lot of stuff. They do a lot of stunts. They blitz a whole heck of a lot, but you know, sometimes they blitz themselves into play. Sometimes they blitz themselves right out of it. So it's just going to be staying the course this weekend.
Thank you.
Next question, we'll go back to Michael Lev.
When you watch the game and you know that one of those two teams is your next opponent, are you watching the ball or are you watching the line?
I'm more watching that box. I'm seeing what they're doing. I'm seeing what fronts they're in, you know, what pressures they bring, and really just watching the personnel on the D-line and linebackers. So,
do you ever get frustrated when the camera follows the ball and you maybe can't see some stuff that you want to see?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you see a offensive lineman on one of the teams finishing one of the guys, and you know, it's completely out of the picture. But you know, it's football, man. They don't want to watch us.
So in last year's game, I know they have a different defensive coordinator now, so a different scheme, but they brought a lot of pressure last year, especially off the edges. It became kind of a big issue in that middle part of the season in general. Coach Sumlin was saying that their new defensive coordinator also likes to bring pressure. So what's the key to making sure that, you know, Grant stays clean?
I think it's just working it and practice a bunch this week, you know, building that, I don't know, that quick twitch mentality where you're, you know, moving off stunts and different games and stuff like that. And just studying this week, you know, all our guys are really focused. So we're going to be watching a lot of film this week, getting ready to keep Grant safe.
When did that process begin of shifting gears from Utah to USC for you guys?
You know, we were devastated for, you know, 8 hours having to watch football on TV for another, you know, week. But I'd say later that day, you know, Grant, all the coaches and everyone, they're just saying to, you know, be sad right now, but stay the course and just reset. I mean, we're going to have to reset our mind anyways that Sunday. So, I mean, we just flipped gears and started preparing for USC.
Sure. Did it kind of start when you watched the game Saturday? Is that kind of the initial?
Yeah. No, I mean, I think every single one of us offensive linemen, and I know the majority of our team was watching that game live on TV. So, I mean, we're all texting back and forth. So everyone's getting ready.
Cool. Thank you.
Next question, we'll go with Jay Gonzalez, Fox Sports 1450.
Hey, Robert. So how's the offensive line's relationship with Grant Gunnell? And, you know, are you noticing a difference in his approach from last year when he was, you know, he was the backup, he was the new guy, and now, you know, he's the starter going in? How's that with you guys?
I mean, Grant, he's always been real close with us offensive linemen. I mean, he's my roommate, one of my best friends, love him to death. And, you know, he walked on campus and earned all our respect immediately. So, I mean, that doesn't really change. He's always had our respect, but, you know, he just has the keys to the offense this year. So, you know, we just get to work with him every single day. So, you know, I'd say our chemistry is really good with Grant.
Next question, Jason Barr, K-Gun.
Jay stole my question. That was what I was going to ask.
Oh, yeah.
Good luck this week. Any thoughts about going up against USC? This is a team that I don't believe Arizona has beat, you know, for some time, maybe 2012. You know, what's the mentality going up against a team that's ranked 20th in the country and is a perennial power?
I mean, no one's unbeatable. I mean, it's anyone can win any game. You know, USC is a great team. They historically have been a great team, but you know what, I feel really good about our team, and we'll see what happens Saturday.
Next question, Alec White, Arizona Daily Star.
Hey, Robert, you just mentioned that you're roommates with Grant. What is he like away from the football field? Because when he's on these press conferences, it's a lot of football questions. But when he leaves the football field, what's it like just being around him when he's not in football mode?
You know, it's hard to say. He's always in football mode. I mean, he and Booby I'm also roommates with Booby, and those guys are the most focused dudes I've ever met in my life. Love football, love everything about it. But, you know, when Grant's away, he's one of the goofiest guys I know, and just a great dude to be around.
What goofy things does he do then?
I mean, he's just like, he's kind of an old soul, you know. He's always, you know, blasting some Fleetwood Mac and stuff like that. I mean, he's just an interesting guy. You know, he's really fun to be around.
He's been on a lot of posters and he's done like promotional TikToks for athletics. How does he react to kind of being the face, quote unquote, of some of these promotional things? Does he enjoy that?
I mean, I don't think he looks for you know, all the attention and stuff like that. But when you're as good at football as Grant, you know, it kind of comes with it. So I think he's kind of embraced that role.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Next question, we'll go back to Michael Lev.
So Grant was telling us about his dog the other day. Have you been victimized by Junior as well, as far as him chewing your clothes or what have you?
My God, yeah. I've gone through about 7 pairs of sandals because, you know, he thinks they're chew toys. I mean, it's really what hasn't he chewed up in our house. But, you know, he's a great dog. He went away for training. He came back, and he's been doing great. But Junior Gunnell, he's a nut.
Would you say that Grant is better at football than dog training?
I would 100% say so. I'm going to catch some heat for saying that, but
so football question, do you prefer guard or center?
I'd say I'd prefer center if I'm, you know, practicing strictly center for, you know, spring practice and fall. You know, the guy's right on you. You get to kind of lead the O-line. But, you know, I don't have a huge preference. You know, I love guard too. You get a running start at guys. You know, you get to take some shots at dudes. But, you know, I just love playing. So wherever that is, I'm happy.
Sure. Are you taking snaps just in case something happens and you might have to move over there?
Not really. I'm kind of sticking to guard this year. So.
Okay. Thanks.
We have time for one more question for Robert. We're going to Justin Spears.
So do you also bowl with Grant? Because Grant was talking about how he was a big-time bowler as well.
I've got a couple of times. You know, I got these big sausage fingers, so that doesn't go great with bowling. But, you know, he's pretty good. I'll say that. He's pretty good.
Okay. What's the best you've ever seen him bowl?
You know what? I usually get really frustrated because I'm bowling about like a 40 or 50, you know, by the end of it. So I'm usually not focused on what Grant's bowling.
You've had an interesting football career because you're from Colorado, correct?
Yes, sir.
And then you went to IMG, and then you went to Texas A&M, and now you're at Arizona. How would you assess kind of your football journey in recent history?
It's just been earning everything. You know, I went to IMG with those stars and, you know, won the starting job there. You know, got the chance from Coach Mazzoni to walk on at Texas A&M, and then ended up playing there my freshman year. And then, you know, getting the chance to come here and earn a spot. So it's been a tough road, but it's been a win changer for the world.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks, everyone. We'll be back in just a second with Michael Wiley.
All right. Thank you, guys.
All right, questions for Michael, please raise your hand. We'll start with Justin Spears, Arizona Daily Star.
So Michael, last year, you had a chance to work with DeMarco Murray. Now this year, with Coach Stewart, how would you compare and contrast their coaching styles?
I think both coaches are great coaches. DeMarco, he was really good at just making me a better man and just making me a better overall running back. I think with Coach Stewart, he's really emphasizing on the details. And I think that's great for our running back group because that's like the little edge that we needed to be just a good overall group, a great overall group, matter of fact. But I think Coach Stewart is great for us.
And how do you see your role this year?
I kind of see my role as a utility guy. You can just kind of just put me, outside at receiver or running back. And this year at punt returner, and even also in special teams, just a guy you can just kind of throw anywhere, any position, pretty much offense.
And what do you think about the depth at the running back spot this year for Arizona?
I think it's great. If guys go down, which is something that we never want to happen, I think we'll be perfectly fine. We got young guys who are great. Pay attention, listen to details, and I think we'll be great in the future.
Next question, Michael Lev, Arizona Daily Star.
Hey there, Michael. You mentioned some of the details that you're learning from Coach Stewart. What's a couple examples of those things?
Just things that can put me in the position to be a better running back as far as my track when I'm getting the ball, or how many steps for this route, or just my pass pro and blocking, just details such as that, just to give me that edge.
Sure. Coach Sumlin has mentioned a couple times that you have made a pretty big transformation with your body this offseason. What can you tell us about how you went about that and how that's gone for you?
For me, it's just the coaching, the strength staff. They helped me a lot this year. Coach B, Coach Ree, and Coach DeRozier, they really helped me by just making me stay extra time and just put on some weight and just stuff like that. And then they are really unappreciated group in this program, and I think they deserve a lot more credit.
So what was your average playing weight, would you say, last season?
Probably around 183, 184.
And what's your weight now?
It ranges from 202 to 205.
And how do you feel out there with that extra 20 pounds or so?
I feel good. That extra 20 pounds helped me break more tackles and just make people miss and just fall forward when I'm getting tackled and just give me that extra yardage when I need it.
Did you feel like last year that maybe you couldn't do some of those things at the college level, that you weren't getting those couple extra yards at the end of runs and stuff?
Yeah, 183 wasn't, well, for me personally, 183 wasn't big enough. So I kind of told myself I need to put on my weight. And so far it's helped me a lot.
It's kind of a crazy concept to think that you can put on more weight, yet also maybe be faster. But I've heard a lot of guys say that. Do you feel like you're even faster than you were before too?
I would say I'm probably a little faster, maybe the same speed, which is good for me. And pretty much I was in 22s on the catapult, and I'm still in 22s now. So.
Okay. And did you change your diet at all as part of this?
Yeah, I added a little more protein shakes and all that. So.
And is it hard to keep the weight on, or do you feel pretty comfortable at this size?
I feel pretty comfortable. I usually don't get below 200 most of the time. If I do, it's just because I haven't eaten. So.
Thank you.
Next question, Rich Herrera, Wildcats Radio 1290.
Michael, a couple questions for you. Can you talk about the offensive line and what you've seen of them and expect for them this season, and the leadership of Grant now that he's the quarterback and the leader of the offense?
Mm-hmm. I expect a lot of big things from the offensive line. I think we look really good this year. I think Coach Donovan has done a great job with them, and that Although Josh McCulley has went down, I think he's still been a great leader. Grant has been a great leader this year, bringing in the offense and bringing everyone together. I feel like this year is going to be a special year.
And one more follow-up. Did you get a chance to watch the USC game, and what are your thoughts on the Trojans?
I did get a chance to see it. I think the Trojans are a great team. We can't go in there thinking that, just because they almost lost or something like that, we can't just be complacent about that. And so I think this is going to be a good battle.
Thank you.
Next question, Troy Hutchison, All Sports Tucson.
So, Michael, going up against your guys' linebacking core in practice, what have you seen out of that group? It's a pretty young core outside of Pandy. What do they bring to the table, and just go into depth about them?
I think they bring a lot to the table. I think people underestimate our core right now. Although we lost Colin and Tony, I think those were big losses. But I think the young guys right now are really stepping up with Darion and DJ. I think they're great guys. I think they'll do fine in the system, and so I think they'll be great this year.
Next question, we'll go back to Michael Lev.
Were you able to work out with Grant some back in Houston during the offseason?
Mm-hmm. Me, him, and Booby would throw. Usually like twice a week, somewhere around there. I would drive over here to his neighborhood, and he'll drive to my school, and we'll just all throw.
Were you able to find a place to go to do that?
Yeah. So our school, for me, my school, our field was open, and so we can just walk in there and just throw. As long as it wasn't too many people, it was only us three pretty much. So, yeah.
Sure. So people don't talk about that often, like the chemistry between a running back and a quarterback. But how do you feel like those sessions will help you on the field when working with Grant?
I think it'll work great. I think me and Grant have great chemistry. It's things like that can be great for us because some things we can get out of certain situations by just communicating on the field. Just me picking up a block or him telling me to do this or that, stuff like that can really make a difference in the game.
Sure. How would you compare your skill set to Gary Brightwell's? Do you feel like you guys are similar? Do you feel like you're like a thunder and lightning kind of combination? How could you guys work together out there?
I think like what you just said, like kind of like thunder and lightning. He's like the bigger back. He's still fast and can do pretty much anything. Me, I'm kind of like the scat back, catch out the backfield, like a third down back, and he's the guy who can really just move a pile and move the chains. So I think me and him would be great.
Sure. Your list of offers included Princeton and Yale. How strongly did you consider going the Ivy League route?
I put some thought into it. My mom really wanted me to go, but getting Ivy League offers is like pretty expensive because it's not a full ride. But yeah, I put some thought into it though.
Sure. And I mean, did you seriously consider it, or when the Arizona offer came, did it sort of feel like, I want to do this. I want the full scholarship. I want the Power 5 experience.
Yeah, when the Arizona offer came, I kind of just knew I was going there. And then after that, I committed, and then more offers came in, but I just knew I wanted to go to Arizona.
And what are you studying here?
Business.
Business. Okay. And do you have any sort of long-term plans of what you like to do business-wise?
Both my parents are in real estate. My dad's in commercial, and then my mom is in residential. So I would like to be in that sort of business.
Got you. Thank you.
Next question, we'll go back to Justin Spears.
What do you like to do when you're not playing football?
I kind of like just to hang with my bros, my family, my friends, stuff like that. Or like I'll just like work out and just play video games, stuff like that.
I mean, are there video games? Are there any other activities that you guys kind of bond with?
Just watching movies together, stuff like that. Going bowling. Pretty much just going bowling out here.
You go bowl with Grant Connell?
Yeah. I think the last time we bowled was probably like a couple of months ago because we just been playing football and stuff like that. So it's kind of been busy.
Have you ever beaten him?
Yeah, I've beaten him before. Grant's pretty good though. You know, he got the arm, so he got the accuracy. But I beat him before.
Did you bowl with J.J. Taylor last year too?
Yeah, he's a great bowler. He was a great bowler. Probably one of the best on the team. Him and Gary. So
Cool. Thanks.
I have time for one more question for Michael, and we'll go back to Michael Lev.
Is there anything that JJ is not great at?
probably basketball. He's a little short, so hopefully he sees this.
So as the main punt returner, what's your kind of primary instruction? Do they want you to try to make plays? Do they want you to try to just make sure that you secure the ball? What's your kind of thought process when you're back there fielding a punt?
I mean, of course, being a punt returner, they want you to make plays, but they also want you to be, you know, careful. They don't want you to muff. You know, looking at the ASU and USC game, they had 2 or 3 special team turnovers. And so we want to eliminate that so that we can win. So just basically making sure I secure the ball is enough for me and the team.
That seems like one of the areas where Coach Sumlin gets involved, right?
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the instructions that he gives you as far as fielding a punt?
Just making sure I catch it, secure it. Even when it's a short kick, I'm calling Peter and telling everyone to get away, stuff like that. Just situations like that.
Got you. Thank you.
All right, thank you, everybody. We'll be back in a minute with our final player, Dante Smith. All right, we'll now start taking questions for Dante Smith. Please raise your hand. We'll start with Michael Lev, Arizona Daily Star.
Hey there, Dante.
How you doing?
I'm doing fine, thank you. How did you end up at Arizona?
Well, initially I went to a small school in Portland, Oregon, and I saw that Coach Sumlin came out here and I transferred, and been one of the best decisions I made in my life.
What was the school in Oregon?
Lewis and Clark, small school.
Lewis and Clark. And were you playing football there?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And how did you kind of find out that there might be an opportunity for you at Arizona, or was there a certain coach that kind of reached out to you, or you reached out to them?
So my previous coaching staff knew Coach Yates, and when he was DC here, and that's how it happened.
Okay. And you said it was the best thing that ever happened to you. Why?
Yes. The experience, the culture, and I learned so much different things being on this football team.
Sure. You had an offer from Louisiana Tech coming out of high school?
I did, and it ended up falling through, and things happened. My second choice is Kansas State, with when Bill Snyder was there, and things fell out as well. So, that's life.
Right. Yeah. I was saying to Kyon Barrs earlier that sometimes it's all's well that ends well, right?
Most definitely.
End up where you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next question, Justin Spears, Arizona Daily Star.
And now you're going to expect to get a lot of playing time because, at linebacker. How would you describe just your role and what this linebacker group can do this year?
My role, pretty much been a general on the field. I played both positions, and the linebacker core is definitely the glue of the defense, with the heart and soul of it, because we have to make sure the D-line and the back end do its job.
And the defensive line looks like, they got a lot more size and there's more depth there. How have they looked in practice so far?
They look great, and Coach Egan has so much enthusiasm and he has so much knowledge, and they've been working very hard. Their feet's getting better, they're stronger, they're faster. I'm looking forward to seeing what they do this upcoming game.
And how does that make your life easier playing linebacker?
Oh, so much easier, especially since USC, their offensive line climbs pretty fast. They're going to make my job easier, open up gaps, and me being able to just tackle the running back.
Next question, Alec White, Arizona Daily Star.
Hey, Dante, who would you say is the teammate or teammates on the team that's had the most impact on you since you've arrived?
The most impact, I would definitely have to say Isaiah Johnson. He's going to be playing a lot this year. He's like my little brother. He's taught me so much, and we've built more of a kinship, if anything.
What kind of things has he taught you then?
He just taught me how to be a better person, how to not take things so serious at certain moments, and just being myself, being more.
What would you say has been the biggest change or transition from going to a small school to now playing at Arizona? What's been an eye-opening experience from that transition?
The speed of the game is much faster, and we're more in the public eye. Of course, we've always had to watch what we do on social media, of course, but not to this extent.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next question, Rich Herrera, Wildcats Radio 1290.
Good afternoon. A lot's been said about the linebacking core. A lot of questions on the depth and the new faces. So next man up, opportunity for new guys. Can you talk about your teammates in the linebacking core and what your strengths are and what you expect out of this unit for the year?
Well, I expect, as far as the overall do our job, Coach Paul Rhodes is a great coach, a lot of knowledge, and pretty much he teaches us to practice hard and make the game easy. So practice hard makes the game easy. Point blank period.
Can I follow up with a couple other things? Can you talk about being a leader on the team? Talk about your leadership skills and
pretty
where
much
you
I was always
learned
taught
how
as a kid growing
to
up,
be a leader.
lead by example. So how you do anything is how you do everything. That's how I look at it. So practice what you preach and pretty much everything else comes to fruition.
What's the mindset of the team right now after not being able to play against Utah, 24 hours sitting in Tucson where you thought you were going to be in Utah, everything you've been through with COVID and the starts and the stops? How hungry are you? What's the mindset of the team right now?
Mindset of the team, 1-0 mentality. So we're a little disappointed about not being able to play, but, things happen in COVID. So we want Coach Sumlin really wanted to make sure that we're okay. So we were mad about that, but after that, we're on the USC now.
Next question, we'll go back to Michael Lev.
Dante, how many special teams units are you on?
I'm on all 4 special teams units.
All 4? Okay. What do you like about playing special teams?
One play of perfection. A lot of people don't think about special teams, but we play it about 40% of the time. Don't quote me on it, but it's very important. And each play is very important. It could be a game-changing scenario.
Sure. Coach Sumlin was saying that he has noticed more special teams mistakes this season than maybe we're used to seeing because the offseason was so different for a lot of teams. Maybe they didn't have as much time. Have you noticed that watching college football as well? It seems like maybe there's more big mistakes that are turning these games around.
Most definitely, especially in the Pac-12. A lot of those, you see this past weekend, USC, they blocked the punt. And typically when you block a punt, your chances of winning go up. So it's very important.
Sure. How have you guys gone about trying to make sure that you're not on the wrong end of some of those big plays?
Pretty much everything, since everybody we play against, everybody was the best guy in high school. So it's about technique, knowing your craft, and pretty much building your confidence with studying the game.
Sure. You're from Round Rock, Texas?
I'm from Austin, Texas. I went to school in Round Rock.
Round Rock. Okay. Austin. Okay. So were you a UT fan growing up? Did you want to go there?
I was a UT fan. When Charlie Strong was there was talks about me going there, but it didn't pan out. So I'm here now.
Sure. Did you have a favorite player from Texas?
I don't really like offensive players, but I have to go with Vince Young.
Oh, of course. Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Of course. And Vince's most famous moment came against USC, right?
Oh, most definitely. I remember watching that game, 2005.
Yeah, that's right. And you mentioned Coach Rhodes earlier. You're in that room with him. And I don't know if you're technically in the room.
We're still meeting on Zoom meetings. Yeah.
Sure. Well, what's it like just to be around the defensive coordinator all the time? What are you learning from him?
What I'm learning from him is he wants everybody to be very sound. We communicate very well. If somebody doesn't get it, he takes pride in teaching us. So if we don't get something on the field, he takes it upon him, and he always fixes stuff. And I love his enthusiasm and his love for the game. And he always wants us to have fun. Do our job, but have fun.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next question, Justin Spears.
When did you first talk to Kevin Sumlin?
I first talked to Kevin Sumlin in 2018. I don't know if he knows this, but he coached my cousin Nehemiah Hicks when he was at A&M. So things just happened, yeah.
And what did you hear about Kevin Sumlin as a coach before you even had a conversation with him?
Well, I've heard a lot of great things. Growing up in Texas, what he did at Houston A&M, having a winning seasons as a head coach, coaching at Oklahoma, I knew a lot about him. So.
Mm-hmm. And talk about your just overall football background, how you got into the sport and why you wanted to play it.
I got in because of my father. At first, I hated football. He forced me to play it. And when like any kid, when you're good at it, you develop a love for it, you know?
And why did you not like it initially?
And I just, the running we had to do at practice as a young kid, I was like, Dad, that's too much running. And we used to hit a lot more than kids do now, you know, but that's it.
And what about your relationship with your father? Seems like he's had a pretty big influence on your life.
I talk to my dad about 3 to 5 times a day, you know. He's a guy in light in my life, and he just taught me so many things. And Pretty much he's a reference book. So if I have problems or questions, I go to him, and he's like my best friend.
And was he always your coach?
No, he wasn't always my coach. He coached me in Little League, but after high school came, he let the coaches take care of me.
And you said you fall in love with something if you're really good at it. When did you realize that maybe football was going to be a part of your future?
Probably about 5-6 years old.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when did you first start playing football then?
Started at 4, flag.
Yeah.
Started at flag and then progressed up from there.
And what has football done for you?
Football it's taught me a lot about life. Football is a team sport, and just like life, you have to rely on other people. And it also made me want to be a competitor. So whatever I do, whether it be business, school, being there for somebody, I want to give everybody my best.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next question, Troy Hutchison, All Sports Tucson.
What are your personal goals for this season? Do you have any stats that you're trying to achieve this year, or what are your personal goals for this upcoming year?
Personal/team, want to win the Pac-12 South. Also, I would like to be an all Pac-12 player. So that's a personal goal.
Do we have any more questions? Yes, Justin Spears.
So what did you learn from Tony and Colin last year?
Tony was absolutely relentless. He always ran to the ball. And Colin Schooler, he taught me to always look at formations, look at the film, look at everything. The small things matter.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, everybody. Our next media availability will be post-game on Saturday.